Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over Tesla stock, let's go over the market and talk about what the hell just happened today. Pretty wild day in the market today. Massive bear chop in the morning into an absolutely ridiculous pump pretty much like 70% of the day after that. So I'll go over my thoughts, I'll go over what I'm thinking, moving forward for Tesla. And yeah, with all that being said and done, if you enjoyed, don't forget to hit that like button. This is not financial advice and I am not a financial advisor. And of course, my membership section is live. That link is down below where I'm constantly updating Tesla and sometimes the broader market every single day. So if you're interested, that link is below for just $3 a month, or for $5, you get access to all that and NVIDIA daily updates as well. A lot of NVIDIA updates the past few days because we're setting up for a pretty massive move that I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit sad about because I had a headache and I took a nap and I missed the entry this morning. So it is what it is. But either way, let's jump into it. Tesla closing the day with a nice, well, okay, maybe not so nice. Only up about 1%, we'll say, compared to the market. For instance, QQQ up a pretty nice 2% on the day. So Tesla with underperformance, but it did hold a pretty, decent level, right? It came right down on the daily chart to about the 21 EMA, almost to perfection, and actually held it pretty well, which was also the bottom of this daily, arguably bear, my goodness, I can't even speak right now. Bear wedge, if you will, bear flag, whatever, right, that we are arguably in still, right? So this is definitely something to still be, a little bit cautious of, right? The way you look at it is this: you take the Fibonacci from up here, bring it all the way to down here, and you can take a look that, we're still technically in this bear flag, right? Maybe we can go up as high as pretty much retesting the recent highs that we had around 233 to 235. That is still a very real possibility, which is pretty much where that 618 Fibonacci retracement is. But, this is why that level is really important, and I'll talk more about it very soon. That level needs to get broken for the bulls to, in my opinion, start gaining some momentum back in their favor. Because right now, Tesla, it's not, in my opinion, it's not looking as good as some other things, at least were looking, right? NVIDIA's, I'll go over NVIDIA in the NVIDIA video itself, but there are some signs that I'm just a little bit cautious of when it comes to Tesla, I guess is the best way to put it, right? So let's talk about all that. So the good news, let's talk about the good news, right? We're above the 21 EMA. We came down to it, retested it almost to perfection. We're still holding this, rising wedge, essentially, bear flag, whatever, right? This pretty much a rising wedge that we're in, right? We're holding it. The stochastic is still bullish. BX trend is still showing higher highs, right? MACD is still bullish. Like, the momentum is still there for Tesla, right? We're above the 21 EMA and the market bias. So, it's not looking bad. Like, it's definitely not looking bad at all, right? In fact, it definitely can go a little bit higher. But, we are approaching what could be a pretty important inflection point, right? And that, to me, right now, at least, as of right now, is 233 to 235. That is like by far the most important level, right? It's extremely important because remember what I said when we had this massive red candle on last Friday, right? This bearish engulfing candle. Technically, we could do whatever the hell inside this candle. Like, we can do, it doesn't really matter that much what we actually do inside this candle. What really matters is when we finally break a direction of this massive red bearish engulfing candle, right? That's what I've been always saying. That's what I'll continue saying, right? That's the most important part. Like I said, if we break above 235 to 233 to 235, in my opinion, that, will probably negate this bearish wedge that we are in. And I think Tesla will most likely continue upwards, probably to this gap fill somewhere around this mid-ish, we'll say 240s. I think that becomes very likely. And above that, obviously, we head up to about 265. Those are the main targets if we break above 265, which is kind of like what NVIDIA did. I'll very briefly mention this. I'll talk more about it in the actual NVIDIA video later today. But similar to what NVIDIA, right? This was NVIDIA's red candle last Friday. Also had an inside day like Tesla, but you can see it broke out of it, right? It ever so slightly closed above it. What was this, yesterday? I think it was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday, right? And look what happened today, right? Obviously some, weird, witchcraft happened in the first 2 hours. I'll go over that in the NVIDIA video, but nonetheless, it closed above that red candle and look what happened pretty much right after, right? That's kind of what I would expect on Tesla if Tesla does close above this 233 to 235 as well, more or less. I mean, maybe not 7 to 8%, but, I can easily see a 4 or 5% move up to about this 245 region from that 233 to 235 region as well. So that's the main thing I'm looking at, right? But again, the reason I'm still a little bit cautious is because, well, there's definitely a chance we can still reject. Like, we can absolutely come up to that level and get rejected. We can even reject sooner than that. We have PPI tomorrow morning. That, that is something to note, right? But, we are still also technically setting up this massive bearish wedge. That is still something worth mentioning that, in my opinion, is very much in play until we can at least break this 235, 233-ish region. So that's why I'm a little bit cautious on Tesla here, right? It's looking great, but even after the market's performing 2%, it's only up like barely 1%. So I mean, to be fair, it did gap down pretty aggressively, maybe because of the debate last night, because, of the Trump-Kamala debate could be, that reason, who knows for sure. But the fact that, the market's up 2% and Tesla's only up barely 1%, it just shows signs that it's really not showing the strength that you kind of would want to see from Tesla relative to the market, of course, right? Because it is at some pretty major levels that, can be massive areas of resistance. So let's see how it plays out. Definitely, in my opinion, keep an eye very closely to this 233 to 235-ish region. Very, very crucial, massive area of resistance. Could potentially set up a pretty massive top there, like it did every single other time it's come up there, right? Came up here to 235, 233, massive top, massive sell-off. Same here on last week, right? Thursday, Friday. Came up to the exact same region, massive top, massive sell-off. Doesn't mean it has to happen again. Maybe this time we actually break through. Who knows? But, the fact that we have gotten massive rejections there 2 times now, and we're pretty damn close to it once again, is a little bit of a sign of concern, in my opinion. So that's just the way I'm looking at it. That's why I'm a little bit cautious for Tesla. That's why it's not looking as great for me right now as some other stocks are. Like, for instance, AMD's not looking too bad for me, right above the 21 EMA. MACD's a bullish crossover. Stochastic is a bullish crossover. BX Trend is making higher highs. Broke this first downtrend. I can see it coming up to the next downtrend, which is this massive green line over here, which, at some point could be closer to the, low 160s, let's say. That could definitely be a thing that AMD can, potentially start doing, right? Especially if NVIDIA continues rallying, though they're not always exactly correlated, as you see today. But that's just kind of an idea as to what I'm seeing for AMD that, it's looking pretty solid. It has some promising signals. While Tesla, even though it technically has these bullish crossovers as well, it's just not holding up as well as I want to see, mainly also because it's just approaching what could be, again, a massive resistance zone. So just be really careful around that zone, right? Just be really careful that it's not going to potentially, get a massive rejection again there. Tesla does have the most bearish flow today, only 6 million. So again, nothing too crazy, nothing to be scared about. But moving forward, especially with PPI tomorrow, just watch for that 233 to 235 level. Wouldn't be surprised if we test it, honestly, even tomorrow. Really wouldn't shock me with how close we are. Could definitely see that happening, but again, until we get at least a 1 hour closure above 233, 235, ideally daily, there is some, signs of caution and concern, in my opinion. Just my thoughts, could be completely wrong, but that's just kind of what I'm seeing moving forward, right? In terms of options flow, Tesla definitely had more bullish and bearish flow overall, at least according to Cheddar flow, but it was pretty much equal, right? But again, this is not, in my opinion, confirmed flow. This is confirmed flow, right? We have 6 million bearish confirmed flow. So a lot of these could have already been closed that we see here. So keep that in mind. The morning we can see was extremely bearish as well. But I mean, Tesla's holding the levels it needs to hold. Like, that's the thing. Like, it is holding the levels it needs to hold. They came down to pretty crucial levels today. It held them really well, exactly more or less where it needed to, right? 219, 217, 21 EMA, bottom trend line, which is really good. Again, missed entries because I was napping because I had a massive headache, which sucks, but it is what it is. But again, as we head up even higher, right? And the higher and higher we go from here, 233, 235, watch for that level. Very important. Either we get a massive rejection or we finally break above it. And I think Tesla can definitely soar and make its way closer to 245. But that's kind of what I'm seeing and that's what I'm expecting. So thank you all so much for watching and I'll see you for the next one. Peace.